The Pillars of Happiness by Dr. Arthur Brooks. Ever since I was a young child, I've always been jubilant. I've always been boisterous. I've always been happy. It's in my name, Takalani, happiness. I've always had a happy demeanor, a joyful demeanor. But as I grow and I start to understand the mind of a human and understand the limbic system, and I get mentors like Dr. Arthur Brooks that explain very, very, very clearly how the mind works. To attain happiness, I start to understand that happiness is a choice. Pleasure is a choice. Misery is a choice. What is the difference between pleasure, happiness, and misery? Happiness pertains to family, friends, faith, work that serves. Pleasure pertains to hedonistic virtues, money, power, fun, fame. Misery pertains to the dark triad, narcissism, psychopathy, Machiavellianism, cynicism, pessimism, so on, so forth, so on, so forth. It's a root for misery. So you need to understand that happiness is a choice. Every single day you get to choose whether or not you can be happy. Regardless of the situation that you're in right now, you can choose to be happy. You can choose to feel happy. How do you choose to feel happy? Environment is more important than pleasure and the pursuit of true happiness. As I said, family, friends, faith, work that serves. If you in situations that make you feel happy and you're amongst people that love you, friends that care for you, family that cares for you and loves you, if you're amongst people at the church or people in whatever field of faith that you're in, they make your soul feel enriched and your spirit feel strong. And people at work empower you to do more. They respect you. The environment that you're in really and truly affects the level of happiness you have in your life. But if you're surrounded by pessimism, if you're surrounded by ostentatious individuals that just want to flaunt wealth and don't care about your character, don't think about character development, don't think about the basis of the individual that you are, but just your monetary value, it's going to lead to misery. If you're in constant pursuit for power, in a megalomaniac way, not in a way to empower other people through your form of sovereignty, it's going to lead to misery. If you just want to have fun, drinking alcohol, smoking weed, smoking so on, so forth, drugs, alcohol, meaningless sex, drugs, alcohol, hedonism, debauchery, that's just a constant, perpetual route to absolute misery and depression. Yes, it does spike your dopamine. And yes, your limbic system does see it as happiness. But that happiness is fleeting. Once that spike of dopamine diminishes, then there's an insurgent of oxytocin. You start having regret. You start feeling less of yourself. And your confidence diminishes slowly, as you continue to have hedonistic pursuits. And fame. If you're constantly in the pursuit for fame and adulation, you lose yourself, because nobody truly loves you as much as yourself and as much as God does. Nobody cares as much about you than yourself. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The only person that cares more about you is God. The only person that cares more about you is God. Nobody's going to wake up and say, I'm going to work to make sure this guy drives a Ferrari. No. Nobody's going to wake up and say, I'm going to force you to work out and be fit. No. Nobody's going to wake up and force you to believe in yourself. No. Nobody's going to wake up and make you want to have courage and pursue the dreams of your life. No. That comes from you. It's an innate thing. It's an innate self-belief. It's an innate self-love. It's an innate self-interest. Nobody's going to care about you more than you care about yourself other than God. So if you're constantly in the pursuit for adulation and fame and adulation and fame and adulation and fame, you're going to go into a spiral that's never going to give you happiness. So you need to be able to mix pleasure and enjoyment pillars for optimal happiness. This is done by doing certain things that do give you pleasure. For example, restaurants, for example, movies, for example, so on, whatever does give you pleasure. Do it, but do it with people that you love. Do it with your friends. Do it with your family. Do it with people that you truly care about. And that just changes it from a situation of pleasure, but a situation of happiness. You feel fulfillment from it. And you need to understand that there's always going to be negative things that happen to you in your life, and that you will lose, and there will be times where you're unhappy. You will lose, and there will be times that you're unhappy. There will be times that you're sad. You're not happy all the time. But you can't sit in your sadness. You can't sit in your anger. You can't sit in your regret. You can't sit in your disappointment. You can't sit in your resentment. You can't sit in your grief. You can't sit and lament. There has to be always an avenue to get on higher vibrational thought. Thought of happiness, thought of encouragement, thought of uplifting, the thought of caring, the thought of forgiving, the thought of being strong, the thought of getting rich, the thought of being smart, the thought of doing many things in this world that's going to leave an impact on others. You need to raise your vibration. Sitting and lamenting decreases your vibration. It's okay to be sad for 24 hours. It's okay to be sad for 24 hours. But don't sit longer than 24 hours being sad and complaining. You got things to do. You got an assignment due tomorrow. Your coach is calling you. You got to go train. You got a test to write tomorrow. Your boss is calling you. He wants that progress report tomorrow. You have a business to run. It's not going to scale itself. You have a relationship to keep. It's not going to keep itself. You got a friendship to keep. Your brothers are not going to respect you if you're not around them doing great things. You got things to do. You can't sit down and just be sad. Not forever, at least. What are the micronutrients of happiness? The micronutrients of happiness are satisfaction, enjoyment, and purpose. As I said, work that serves. You need to find a purpose, something that makes you wake up in the morning that can give to other people. Make other people's life better. Emotions are just information, a signal that you need to change, that something is happening. When you feel a lot of emotion, it's a sign, it's a system, it's your system telling you that something needs to change. Either what you're doing is giving you a lot of pain and you need to stop it immediately, or if it's giving you a lot of joy, you need to start doing it a little bit more. But emotions are so woolly, just signals. They shouldn't control you. They should guide you and your decisions. The way you separate your emotions and your reactions is to study yourself and then observe the feelings and label it. If you're feeling angry and you know you're an angry kind of person, you need to understand that you're an angry kind of person. You need to understand what kind of man or woman that you are. You can't shy away and not know who you are. You need to study yourself on a constant basis. Introspection. You need to know what ticks you off, what don't you like, what makes you angry, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you grieve, what makes you so on and so forth. Everybody's different. You need to study yourself, observe yourself, label what you're feeling, and make sure that you can be able to react in the most efficient and proficient way possible. You can't let your emotions control you. You need to control your emotions. You can't let your mind control you. You need to control your mind. If you don't control your mind, what's going to happen? You're going to lose. And above all else, I always say that gratitude is everything. To be happy, you need to understand that it can always get worse. No matter how bad it is, it can always get worse. You hate your job, at least you have a job. You hate school, at least you're going to school. You hate your skin, at least you got good skin. You hate your physique, you hate your muscles, at least you got muscles. You hate your smile, at least you got teeth. You hate your eyes, at least you can see. You hate your eyebrows, at least you have eyebrows. You hate your hair, at least you have hair. There's always somebody that has less, always. So always be grateful. The more you're grateful, the more inherently happy you will be, the more joyful you will be, and the more people will like to spend time with you. So I challenge you every day, right, to think about what makes you grateful, what makes you feel blessed. Because this, at a large scale and a small scale, can absolutely change your life like how it changed mine.